Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. This is a famous quote by a very famous president, John F. Kennedy. I'm going to tell you a little bit about his pre-presidential life, his presidency, and his untimely death. John Fitzgerald Kennedy was born May 29, 1917, in Boston, Massachusetts, to Rose and Joseph Kennedy. John was the second of 9 children. He was a sickly child, and despite his father's efforts to instill a competitive nature and winning is everything attitude, he was a mediocre student and a mischievous child. John excelled in classes he liked and barely put any effort into ones he didn't. His senior thesis over why Britain was ill-prepared to fight Germany in World War II became a published book, Why Britain Slept. After graduating, John joined the Navy. He served in World War II on the motor torpedo boat, the PT-109. While serving, his boat was struck by a Japanese warship, splitting his boat in 2. 2 men died, and John badly injured his back. Despite his injury, he was able to save a man by putting the strap of his life vest in his mouth and dragging him to safety. John received the Navy and Marine Corps Medal and a Purple Cross. After being discharged, he worked as a reporter for a short time before running for U.S. House of Representatives, which he served 3 terms. After serving in the House of Representatives, he ran for Senate. Shortly after being elected to Senate, he met Jacqueline Bouvier. They were married in 1952. They had 3 children, Carolyn, Jack Jr., and Patrick. This brings us to his presidency. After being passed up as Adela Stevenson's running mate in 1956, he decided to run for presidency in 1960. With his running mate, Lyndon B. Johnson, at his side, he barely beat Nixon and became the 35th President of the United States. During his presidency, he handled things such as the Cuban Missile Crisis, which brings us to his untimely death. On November 22nd, 1960, the president was assassinated, presumably by Lee Harvey Oswald. Now, I'm not going to get into the number of shots, the trajectory of the bullets, or the wounds the president suffered. On that day, someone, somehow, killed one of the best presidents the United States has known. In conclusion, I am going to leave you with this thought. If John F. Kennedy had not been assassinated, what more could he have accomplished during his presidency? Maybe a second term.